One of the things I've been thinking about recently as I kind of have my ponder time and make a coffee or have a shower is how sometimes two businesses which look very similar at the outset can actually be very, very different because of the thinking around having a long game versus a short game. And I think sometimes what we're building from a product and service perspective around subscriptions can be viewed as like a niche e-commerce play, because we, at the moment, if you look at our website, it looks like we only do two things and we only ever talk about one, which is coffee. But the reality is what we're building and the reason we're going so visibly or kind of publicly slow on what we're doing is actually there's quite a long game play in action, and I think sometimes it can drive me to want to justify where we're at, what we've been doing, but actually kind of behind the scenes, where the cogs are turning, there's actually things being put into place which make for an interesting future, one that I don't want to go into at the moment, which is challenging. So maybe I should make some private vlogs that I then surface later on when the time is right. But that whole thing of short term, kind of, you look at two businesses, they look the same, they look like they're competing, but actually both of them have a very different end game, and from an outsider's perspective it can very much distort and lead to confusing conversations with people. Had a pretty good afternoon today. Finished up a kind of sketching workshop with Preco around the future of the Vumi platform that we're big users of. It was very informative to do a kind of brainstorm approach to new UI concepts, where you do two short little bursts of 10 minutes of focused sketching, which is it causes you to just iterate quickly on ideas rather than get bogged down in all the details. So it's something I'd like to try internally with some of our stuff. So big up to Justin and Steve for organising that. It was good. My consulting work today was mainly around making sure a new project that we are working on that pulls together a whole bunch of component works is able to be run on a Docker setup. I tinkered around with Docker August, September last year as part of a pilot with a friend, and it was a real nightmare at the time. Didn't really get very far. There was just way too many options out there in terms of the ecosystem of tools around it, all named randomly similar things to do with containers and container ships and docks and harbor master and all kinds of stuff. That tool ecosystem has really calmed down now and settled in, with some stuff becoming part of the core Docker toolkit, and it's actually pretty good now. The combination of Docker Compose, which used to be called Fig, and Docker Machine, which allows you to essentially create environment groups of machines, come together really nicely to make a set of tools that with a few commands you can bring up a number of different Docker images and have them easily link to each other. So we'll see whether it works well in production, but for dev environments it's absolutely ideal, and for being able to roll out a whole bunch of unit test clusters quickly it's ideal. So I'm really excited because it simplifies a lot of the stuff that has been a nightmare with starting new employees or new contractors into working on a project. The whole bootstrapping your environment thing has been a complete nightmare sometimes for us. So the ability to be able to quickly get a a person productive and looking at code instead of faffing around with installing versions of drivers and packages and package manager hell. Being able to give them a Docker compose file and tell them to run that, yeah, that's really ideal. So looking forward to what ease of work that enables going forward. That's it for the day. Time to go play with the family.